In this video, we will discuss curtain programming with the iGrow 1400 controller. Note, this equipment type requires 2 consecutive channels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. And the first channel, the odd numbered, must be wired to open the shade, and the other channel, the even numbered, to close the shade. Now with curtain programming, you have shade control and you have energy control. But first thing we're going to do is go ahead and program an output to be shade. Now from the home screen, we'll simply hit Enter Menu, go to Program Equipment, and as you can see, output 11, we're going to hit Enter Menu, hit Next a couple of times, expand the none, and make this output a curtain output. Now what we've done, we have already made output 1 and 2 a shade curtain output. Now first we'll cover shade control. In programming your curtain for shading, you will first set a close and open time. It is during this window of time that you permit or enable the curtain to be controlled for shading purposes. You have the option of controlling the close and open times based on a fixed time window or a relative time window, sunrise or sunset. When the cursor is over the at position, by pressing plus and minus, this gives you those options. But for now, we're going to have it open and close at a fixed time window. And we're going to have it close at 7 a.m. and open at 6 p.m. Now the following screen, you have more parameters to set. The first is the max close position. This is important if you're using ridge vents for cooling. You may not want to close the curtain completely. In this event, a typical max close might be 90 to 95% in order to let hot air escape through the overhead vent. If you have a light sensor, you may want the curtain to shade only when the light exceeds a threshold. Therefore, you have a close above light intensity value you can select. Also, if you have an outside temperature sensor, you may want to close the curtain to a max close position when the out temperature exceeds a temperature threshold. If neither sensors are installed, the shade control is solely dependent upon the open-close times on previous screens. Now hitting next, this screen is the last screen for shade control. It allows you to set light thresholds when the curtain will open after it was closed. The light levels can vary and sometimes only be for a few minutes. Therefore, you will typically keep the open below value at the range of 50 to 100 watts per meter square. But in our circumstances here, we're going to leave it at 700 watts per meter square. Therefore, you typically keep this open below value between the range of 50 to 100 watts per meter square below the close above setting on the previous screen. To further reduce the curtain movement, you can also set an open delay time. This means that the light level must be constantly below the open below threshold for the selected time in minutes before the curtain will open. Now on this next screen, this is energy control. You see, curtains are often used as a thermal blanket during the night. We call this energy control. On this screen, you can set close, open time window, which can be done at a fixed time, or you can do it at sunrise and sunset. And for our close and open times, we're going to have it at 7:05 p.m. to 6:55 a.m. You want to make sure that these times do not overlap. By doing this, you will omit confusion within the curtain programming parameters. If you have a light sensor and or an outside temperature sensor, you can make the energy blanket subject to certain conditions as shown in the following screen. You can set a light threshold and an outside temperature threshold above which the curtain will not close. Either of these two parameters will keep the curtain open. Now the final curtain programming screen, you have a few more options. Now the first option, you can select a heating or cooling stage above which the curtain will be closed to a maximum percentage. In this example, the curtain will be closed at 99% if the stage is at or above cool 6. Now the second example, is shock protection. You know, in the morning when the curtain is scheduled to open and it's cold above the curtain, it may not be desirable to open the curtain all at once and flush the greenhouse with that cold air above the canopy. Now, shock protection allows you to select an outside temperature below that the curtain will open in 4 steps. It will open 5%, then pause for 5 minutes, and then it will do this 4 more times and then open to 0% without stopping. Note, if no outdoor temperature sensor is installed, this option is not enabled. And finally, you have close time. Now, this is the time in minutes and seconds it takes for the curtain to go from its fully open position to its fully closed position. This entry is vital since it establishes the run time for the curtain so that it will go correctly to the closed positions that you program. And by simply hitting back to the home screen, and that's our video in curtain programming.